Hi, I'm Dr. Karen Becker.
And I'm Dr. Barbara Royal.
And we are so excited to have a little chat today about kidney disease and pancreatitis.
Yeah, kidney disease is one of those things where we're talking a lot about protein. And people really focus on that, and they're always saying, oh, make sure to lower the protein in kidney disease. What we've really found is the most important thing, in fact, is phosphorus. The protein levels, in fact, should be relatively high.
And the quality of protein is imperative. Rendered animal grade, feed grade protein is horrible for the kidneys. So using human grade lean meats is really important. Those amino acids are really critical to prevent weight loss. But low phosphorus is equally as important. What are you thinking in terms of what are your concerns about phosphorus?
Phosphorus drives me crazy as a practitioner because it's the number one thing that makes them not want to eat. They just feel sick. It's sort of like they're just overwhelmed with so much phosphorus in their blood that they're just almost like having a really bad, nauseating hangover. It's a terrible thing to have in your body all the time, and your kidneys are really in charge of clearing that. When they're not working well, they're not clearing it well. So we really need a diet that's going to keep the phosphorus low so that it isn't taxing the system.
And phosphorus is the marker that we use as veterinarians actually for a prognostic indicator of how long animals can and will last with chronic kidney disease. So a low phosphorus, excellent quality protein diet is really important. Fiber can also act as a nitrogen trap in the belly and can do a nice job of helping to prevent extra urea from being absorbed. So a moderate amount of healthy, low glycemic fiber is also quite beneficial.
And that keeps the bacteria and the microbiome in the gut really happy and healthy, and that's super important to keep the kidneys healthy as well. You don't want a lot of the byproducts from sort of toxic metabolism going on. So the more we do causes of health for the system in our diets, the more likely we're going to keep kidneys healthy and happy.
The other thing that is imperative is a really excellent source of those B vitamins. Whole food sources of B vitamins, in fact, just B vitamins in general, really good for nausea and also stimulating appetite.
Yeah, I love B vitamins. I wear B vitamins. B vitamins are one of the things that I'm always giving to kidney cases anyway. So if you can do it with food, it's wonderful. We do injections and things as veterinarians, but get it in the food. And it's not always that easy to get enough of the B vitamins, so make sure that your food is including a lot of them.
And so moving on to pancreatitis, pancreatitis ranges from subacute to fatal. So it can be, it can happen to any animal if they ingest a substance that the pancreas isn't able to handle. You can end up with a hospitalized case of pancreatitis. But I think far more common are these low simmering, ongoing chronic cases of pancreatitis, where despite the fact that maybe animals are on incredibly low-fat diets, they've got this elevated PLI on blood work that is persistent, causing animals to not feel well, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea. They just feel awful. So pancreatitis, I would almost classify as a hidden epidemic.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's been a real problem in identifying it and also just managing it. Because one of the things I think that really contributes to the pancreatitis that I'm seeing is a poor quality diet. When it's always being, the pancreas is always being challenged to do too much. And I think the body has an inflammation problem. And for us to really handle that, we have to think about a very anti-inflammatory diet. It can make a huge difference for a pancreatitis problem.
I have seen the best response kind of decreasing the starch and sugar in the diet. We know that starch and sugar are pro-inflammatory. They create inflammation, and the itis of pancreatitis is inflammation. So my first recommendation is get those unnecessary refined high glycemic carbs out of the diet. Now, we're not talking about the low glycemic high fiber roughage, right? We're talking about, no rice, no corn, no wheat, just unnecessary carbs.
Yeah, unnecessary carbs and sugars. And then the next thing we talk about, everyone talks about really with pancreatitis, is this low fat idea. And I can see in the very beginning when there's an acute problem that we really are careful with the diet, do something bland, get them through the critical stage. But after that, we're focusing very, very much on high quality, excellent fats that are not rancid and that are really going to solve the biggest problem we have. And those kinds of fats, some of your favorite kinds of fats.
And so, and I think choosing quality fats are really important because fats really are vilified in pancreatitis, but you have to remember the vast majority of animals dealing with pancreatitis have been eating pet food, which most of it is feed grade rendered, not human approved raw ingredients, which means the fats are oxidized, they've been high heat processed many times, and the levels of advanced glycation end products, the level of carry along, tag along products that actually induce a state of inflammation is one of the reasons I think that chronic pancreatitis cases just don't ever resolve. So a minimally processed diet, a fresher food diet that has not been extruded is, I think, key for managing long-term pancreatitis.
Yeah, and then making sure that your omega-6, omega-3 ratio is appropriate and that you're not feeding too many inflammatory fats, and you're including, again, fats that are in very, very good shape. And that's one of the things that people forget, is that we're feeding these foods, even prescription foods that are for pancreatitis, but they're ultra-processed foods, and that really means those fats are degraded in a way we really don't want to feed to a pancreatitis case.
Not to mention digestibility. Home cooking, gently cooked, foods that are human grade and maybe cooked once at low temperatures, those really are ideal for low grade pancreatitis, all the way to severe horrible pancreatitis. You really want to focus on quality and digestibility.
Yeah, and of course the pancreas, as you know, the whole system is dealing with digestion. Everything should be highly digestible, and then we need to focus on the microbiome. Make sure that our fibers are terrific and they're helping us process the food and keeping toxins out of the system.
Healthy food, healthy bodies.
That's what we want.